and she is a mindset coach. And her and I were just chatting earlier around how the good old mind right up here loves to tell us lies, loves to like lead us down paths that are really unhelpful and not nurturing for who we really are. And I'm so excited to invite her on today. Hi, Vanessa.
Hello, Adara. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. So great to have. I'm just so excited. Yes.
Me too. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about how you are a creative yourself and how you were a graphic designer. Was that the kind of designer you were?
Well, actually, I was a interior designer, and then I moved into lighting design. And yeah, so from there, I had, if there's any designers out there, we know that we're very deadline driven, high stress. And so, yeah, back then I just didn't know how to cope with my stress levels. And I coped with toxic relationships and lots of alcohol, savory treats. I just, yeah, did it all. And yeah, it was just a journey that took me to a place where I just totally was in self-abuse mode, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I found that it just all of a sudden clicked. And I was like, okay, I just need to heal myself naturally. I got to figure out what's going on. My gut issues were really bad. I had really bad eczema, skin issues, and through that, it was just like a big black hole. The more I researched on how to heal myself naturally, it was just like, yeah, it just opened up a whole new world for me.
Wow. How was it? Like you had to let go of the light design to
Yeah.
do this now career as a coach. And how was that transition just in itself? Because I know for myself and for others, it's difficult to like leave our bread and butter or like our job to like pursue the things that we're really passionate about or feeling on fire about. So it sounds to me that you got so into this journey of your self-healing and you just kept uncovering new things and new teachers and this and that. And then now this is what you feel like you're born to share.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it was just, and this is why I do what I do is just to help people release those identities, right? Like whether I'm an interior designer or lighting designer, there's identities that we lock ourselves into. And it actually limits us to be able to expand to our greatest potential, right? And so that was a journey of its own, right? Like I had told myself I want to learn, I want to dive in deeper into holistic nutrition and to be able to wear the two hats, right? Being designer and being a student in holistic nutrition was such a struggle. Like I ended up creating asthma. Like this is how the body works, right? The body's amazing. It will tell us when something is going on in the mind. And what I didn't realize was that I trapped myself into this mindset of like, I want to be there, but I'm here, right? I think we can all relate. We're always thinking about the next thing instead of being here. We're always thinking about where do I want to be next? And that's where that stress comes in, right? And so it was definitely a huge transformation for me to be able to realize, okay, what is this asthma telling me? And then to be able to work through it and then be asthma free. Just as soon as I did the work to release that identity that I was trapping myself, that I couldn't be who I wanted to be, it just, yeah, self-heal again. So it was just an ongoing thing.
Okay, so in your work, you definitely help women primarily like relieve stress. That's like huge, right? And the way that we are stressing out, like you're saying, is all in the mind and what it is that we're thinking, right? So what is like one technique that you do that just really kind of helps us sort of to relieve that extra crazy?
Always mind dumps. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, because all the chit chat is up here, all the drama, everything, all the stories, it's all up here. And that's what keeps us in that overwhelm and in that anxiety. And so the first thing we want to do is do a mind dump, AKA journaling, right? Get it down on paper. And what we want to do next is actually look at those thoughts. So most of the time when we do journaling, it's like, okay, it feels better. I'm going to close the book and then move on, right? So what I teach my clients is to really look at the story, separate out what's actually facts versus the story, and then ask yourself, does this story serve me? Okay. It's like seeing, like, is it actually a friendly story? Or am I actually beating myself up? Or beating someone else up?
Right. The beating ourselves up thing is something I think we've all gotten really good at doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know
why. It doesn't serve us.
What's that?
And it doesn't serve us.
No, not at all. But I think that's the point. It's like, it's supposed to be like, well, you don't sort of deserve this, or you're not worthy of this. So we're just going to tell you this story so that you just remember that you're not good enough, kind of. And it's really hard to break out of that pattern because your brain loves to think like the same thoughts, and it wants to make
and so that's why the mind dumps really help, because you get to see day after day, okay, there's that same sentence. Okay, this is what I'm repeating. This is what I unconsciously am replaying. It's like a cassette tape, right? Like it just keeps playing. And what we want to do is stop it and record over it, right? We just want to create a new story that actually serves us, right? And speak our truth, speak what is actually true versus like, what is that drama, right? Because the longer we stay in that drama, the more we keep repeating it. Right.
Yeah, I have the same like cystical. What's the word I'm trying to? I'm trying to say like circular patterns. I know the word, but it's not coming out of my mouth correctly. Where I go into like overwhelm all the time. So like this morning, I was trying to finish my landing page so that when my opt-in went out and the email went out, that they would get this, and then I had to send out the blog, and then I leave myself like an hour and a half to do that in, and like I would be smart to do it the night before or, a couple days before, but no, I keep doing it in this time block. And so this is the story I tell myself is that I'm always overwhelmed. I'm always doing all of these things and I can't cope kind of thing, but I get through it. And I guess where I'm going to with this is that I just kind of keep creating this pattern for myself. And it would take like a new thought or a new way of thinking to be like, you know what, you're capable of handling all of this. You just need to learn how to time. I don't know, like, what would you say to somebody like that likes to play the same stories over again?
Well, it's like, what is that story? I'm always overwhelmed, right? So it's first noticing I'm always overwhelmed. It's just a sentence. It's just a thought that you're unconsciously thinking, right? And it's only your conscious once you write it down and you see it. I'm always overwhelmed, right? And then decide that's not who you are. It's not. It's just a thought, and that's the thing. Thoughts and emotions, they're energy, right? We are energy beings, and we are always a blue sky. We are perfect and whole. And it's when we have these thoughts and emotions that create
like our
fear. What was that? Sorry.
It creates our weather. So
it creates that weather, and so that's where the clouds come in, right? And so is just let it pass. Let it just. Oh, there's that thought. I'm overwhelmed. There's that thought. Okay, bye. I don't like it. Doesn't need to stay around, right? And so it's just noticing that it isn't who you are. It doesn't have to be your story. Because when you feel overwhelmed, what do you normally do?
Panic and get stressed out and raise my and gain weight.
go to the fridge, right? Like this is where we just like find all these other things to do, right? And so what ends up happening is that we create more work for ourselves and less time. And then that's where that cycle comes in again. Then you think about your result, which is like, I'm still where I am. And then you feel overwhelmed again. And so we're layering all of these emotions and it seems like we can't get out of it. But all we have to do is just notice it. And the more we notice it, every time we notice it, then that's creating a new habit, right? That's bringing it from the subconscious to the conscious mind, right? And then you see it. And then you're like, there it is. It's not real. Now I can choose to think differently about it, right? Like, I can totally handle this.
Right.
Right.
I just have to go back. I was like, I had an aha moment there between you and I when you were saying that we are a blue sky. So we are like this clean slate. I really love this. I hope everyone takes this home. And then all we are these emotions and thoughts and thinking is all just weather patterns. And it's like our duty as like the crystal clear blue sky to work those patterns out. And sometimes the storm stays for 3 days and it sucks. But like, think about all the vegetation and stuff below that gets nurtured from the rain and those types of things. So anyway, we need it all, right? Otherwise, I don't know what the point of life is if we're not going through like the ebbs and flows of our emotional current, right?
It's part of the human experience, right? And I actually would like to share with us all that we can actually get to a point where we can feel fearless, feel freedom, feel total abundance with practice. We can. It just takes practice, right? Because that's the thing. It's like in our society, in our culture, it's like if you're depressed, there's something wrong with you, right? But if you're too happy, there's something wrong with you, right? Like, so what are we supposed to be then, right? So I would say that we are supposed to be happy. And the thing is, we don't actually know how to be happy.
No.
Right? Only as kids we know. Right? So it's basically returning to that.
Innocence, basically. Yeah.
Returning to that innocence. And that's the thing, we start off the clean slate, right? The blue sky, and we cover ourselves up, and then we keep adding, we put on masks. Somebody gives us a mask to wear. We try that on. No, it doesn't work for us. Try on something else. Doesn't work for us, right? Let's just take all of those masks off and just step into our truth and truly be who we are. And this is where all it is just removing that fear. And it's seeing fear versus love, right? Because when there is fear, there's no opportunity to love at all, right? And we are all meant to be here to serve one another. And with that comes love, right? And so, yes.
Yeah, no, I love it. I just love it. You need a little podcast or a little something that you can do your little, I don't know if they're not sermons, but they're these beautiful little lectures. I love them. I just wanted to say that I wanted to know what your truth was. I wanted to know if you could state your truth, because I know a lot of times you'll see online, learn to live your truth and, speak from your truth and all these things. And I'm assuming some people are like, well, I don't know what that is, or I don't know where I'm supposed to look for my truth. So I'm just curious to know, if I was to ask you what your truth is or what your truth means to you now, what would you say?
To be love, to be complete love in how I speak to people and how I show up, just fully in service. And that's the thing. It's it's dropping, and this has been work for me, is to drop that people-pleasing identity, which is fear-based. Right? What are people thinking of me? I got to make sure that they value what I share.
Yes.
And so it's that doesn't serve, right? That's an identity that's totally fear-based. So being able to drop that and just step into full service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we step into that full space of full service, there is no expectations. We authentically love and want to serve without any expectations of acknowledgement, recognition, none of that, right?
Okay, and then I know we're supposed to like end this, but this just kind of keeps on going in my mind. Is like, okay, so we're in service, right? And we're leading in love, and we see that our purpose on this as a human being is to be there for others and to help create their human experience, and vice versa. When money gets put into the equation, it feels like it gets so messy, because a lot of times when we're serving at our highest, it doesn't necessarily give you a monetary equal balance, right? Like that energy isn't. So I have a hard time sometimes with that, because I'm like, all the things that I do for free in service don't sometimes pay. And then you're like, but if my point is to serve, then I want to be compensated for that. So that's all I get to do, and not have to do a shitty job that I don't like.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is with that is that it's a given that we live in abundance. Okay. So when we come from a place of full service, and if you want to offer something that's complimentary, have no expectations. Just trust that the gifts will come back tenfold. Do you see what I'm saying? So when we have expectations of like, I provide a service and I want money for it.
Yes.
This is where it's like that scarcity thinking comes in, right?
Right.
But if we think of it, I'm here to serve, and the money actually helps me to serve more people, right? It's just a material, like it is just a material thing. It's an illusion. It's a tool for us. And so we just see it as tool and take that totally out of the equation and trust that there is an abundance, that whatever you put in, you might not see it back right away, but just trust that it will come. Right. And this is where it's like our business is like a baby, right? Like we've got to nurture it. We've got to feed it, right? It's not going to start paying us back, and it might never actually pay us, right? But the thing is, the reason why we're doing it is we want it to grow, and we want the baby to be able to share and make an impact in some way, right?
Yeah, or maybe even walk on its own and not need us so much.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Okay, so some lucky viewer is going home with a $275 value of clarity coaching with Vanessa, a mindset. Is that like a 1 hour with you?
Yes. Yes.
So what do we want to do? What do we want to do to give that to somebody? Make it quick, Adara. Tell us what it is that you want to get clear on, or a pattern that you have that you're really ready to break. Something like that. First person to do that gets the coaching package. Woohoo! Fantastic. So tell everybody just quickly, Vanessa, you do have an 8-week program, or sorry, 7, 8.
It's an 8-week program, yes.
And is it called something?
It's called Elevate You.
Beautiful. Great. So is that the first thing you like to do with people, or how does the process work usually working with you?
Yeah, so we explore where your main blocks are, and we go through with the 8-week program. It's taking you through the different stages. Okay, right. So first you're probably coming and you're unable to focus. You're feeling overwhelmed. Okay, and so it's being able to remove those blocks and then get you to a place of acceptance of where you're at. Right, and loving what is, being grateful for what is, right, and getting you to a place of peace, and then taking you to abundance and freedom and full of love.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The other side. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, we have our winner. Gloria is taking that home. That's so exciting. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Gloria.
Well, Vanessa, I'm going to put your details below in this post, and I know we'll get other people watching and hopefully commenting on. I would really love to hear from other people, like what their thoughts are around our beliefs and how they hinder us or bring us forward into what we want to do, and also the mind dumping. Curious if that works for people. I'm going to try that myself because I mean, I guess this is sort of like my mind up for the day, but it's literally more like to-dos that I keep putting off. But
So yeah, with the mind up, just what you want to just by separating out the facts versus story. And what I mean by that is like, fact is I'm a business owner. Okay. I have a home. I have certain number in my bank account.
yeah.
Okay. Those are factual things. Those are things that everybody can agree with. And then everything else is the thoughts we have about it.
Right.
And that's the story. Yeah.
That's good. Facts and stories.
Yes.
I love it. Good. Awesome, Vanessa. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
you, everyone.
And I really encourage everybody to check out Vanessa online and see what else she's up to. She's got some good stuff. And she's reading the Course in Miracles right now, which is like awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.